Alrighty, I'd like to welcome everyone today to the Hurley Investments Financial Services commentary. I couldn't find a bigger, what am I trying to say here? A bigger title for what we do, but nice to see people that are here today. George, Abraham, nice to have you. It looks like Mary, Lance, and David are also here. So good to have you guys here. Before I was going to start, a couple questions came in, like Top Gun, Disney is dead. And um, I brought Disney in here because in all reality, it's traded as high as 118, as high as 122, and it really has an opportunity to go significantly higher. I'm going to put an article in that talks about Disney and some of the things it has lining up. But I find it's funny because the individual said a little Tuesday humor, yet someone else just typed in, Donald Duck is dead. um, right now, I am still a believer in Disney. My belief is Disney can still go higher. I think Disney has some upward potential. In fact, as I did my valuations and put their price to earnings, discounting other parts of the business by way of ESPN and so forth, I come out with a price at Disney around 134. So that's my target price for Disney. Some of the analysts agree with that, some of them don't. But we've had Disney that has come down and touched the 100 round number down to 102. Interesting, should get back up to 110 range. Now, I had a problem with Disney today. What do you guys think my problem with Disney is? What was my problem I had with Disney? David, that's cheating. Because I manage money for you, that's cheating. Of course. Kevin, you lost money on Disney for me today when it was up $1.60 because some puts ended up losing more than the stock gained today. But really quickly, what can you tell me? I don't have the titles there. What can you tell me about my long puts on Disney? Someone just typed in VectorVest Disney's fair value is 135.56. It's funny because I came out to 134.93. I don't remember what the change was, but it was in the high 130.34s, so almost 135. Maybe VectorVest can do something right. Not a big fan of VectorVest. But what can you tell me about my puts? All right, well, Dave, we had a conversation, right? So that's cheating is what I'm going to tell you. But you are correct. If I said, what can you tell me about the long puts? You are correct. They are roughly 176. They're what? $4.50 in the money or profitable. I can still cash them out for a profit. So the question is, when am I going to do it, or why? And unfortunately, if you take a quick peek, we've had 2 nice days on Disney, basically up $2.22. But if you look at the chart, and I'm primarily talking about here what's most recent, if you look at those 2 days in the chart, and then look at these 2 days, if you take a peek at those and run those against an index, you're going to see some pretty good similarities. Didn't quite gain back to the highs like it did on the Disney stock. Disney went higher, beat the market in the last 4 days. If I put it down here, we'll see the same thing on the S&P. Didn't quite gain the losses going back to last Thursday. And of course on the NASDAQ, hasn't quite gained the losses that it gained back from last Thursday. Above the 50 on the NASDAQ, but if I go ahead and make this comment, we're still bearish. Can't spell worth beans. Still bearish. Almost positive on the RSI. Still bearish on the MACD, and if I used a 5 and a 20, we'd still find out I'm bearish. Same thing on the S&P. Still bearish. And same thing on the S&P, the Dow Jones. Still bearish. So when people asked me, well, why didn't you take it off? It's still profitable, plain and simple. But more importantly, indexes are still bearish with only 1 day above the 50-day simple moving average. And yes, I mean, the comment is, Abraham, I slept at night. With that said, if I can skip on down below it, yes, I have Apple, Baidu, Ford. What else do I have? Apple, Baidu, Ford was stock-only positions. I have Facebook, Visa, NVIDIA, with only covered calls. Disney still has long puts, and I could also go in here, Bank of America, D.H. Horton, American Outfitters, Brand Corp. Still, it's only stock positions. So there are times when stocks are bullish, when markets are bearish, that I haven't quite covered or haven't quite looked to I don't know, to make a change. To a certain degree, I am letting a couple stocks run which, how would I say, which may not be the best, which may not make it easy for me to sleep at night, which goes against the grain on everything that we might be touching base on regards to hey, what about August and September being such bad months in the market. Yet, what it really came down to was just options that expired, and I haven't re-put protection on because technically the stocks are bullish. So that's where the reason why I haven't had some long puts. Hi, Kevin. When you decide to close a Disney put, sorry if you just answered it, I'll catch the recording. I'm looking at deciding to do long puts and closing them tomorrow. And you do want to go back through the recording, listen to the recording. I'll tell you why I kept them on or had them on today. But obviously Disney is bearish. And we went through a little bit on the indexes, and most likely I will close those tomorrow if we continue to see upward movement, looking to add some 105s on if Disney cannot break the 50-day simple moving average. So, yes, I've got some stocks that are running now, some stocks without protection that I've either captured the protection last week as options expiration expired, and sometimes you get caught on a day like today where it wasn't the best day for Disney. It was a good day for accounts. It just wasn't the best day for Disney in stock positions. At least not for Hurley Investments, right? Any comments you guys want to say about Disney or about what I'm doing or why with him? David, could I have taken them off for more profit a couple days ago? Definitely. But if you take a look at Disney's chart, you could have said the same thing. Hey, couldn't you have taken them off for profits here? And you would have been pissed at me when Disney was down here. Hey, couldn't you have taken them off on any of these up days? Of course I could. But let's see what Disney does right now, because it seems like we're on the top. Wouldn't surprise me if the next 3 days if we head back down here, in which case I'm going to want those long puts on. If we do get one more up day and we look to break the little bit of short-term resistance that we're starting here, yeah, I'll take them off. I'll take them off and let them run. But my expectation is the next 3 days we'll see it kind of float back down this way, and that's something I'll be taking off on Friday. So again, could, woulda, shoulda. Couldn't you have? Of course I could have. But looking at our indexes, with all due respect, I saw no opportunity, no reason why we should be taking puts off of individual stocks, especially when we come up to a downward moving out of an over bought territory on indexes. Nice to see the bounce off the 50 on the Dow, but we are still bearish. Nice to see us above the 50 on the S&P, but just barely. S&P 50-day moving average is 24.50 and 29 cents, 24.52 and 51 cents. And then, of course, we can take a peek at the NASDAQ. And again, kind of interesting, it just didn't it's not holding the 50-day. It's not giving me confidence for taking it off of Disney. Disney just had such a bad rap. People can't look over the small percentage of profit that ESPN is. That I just I couldn't justify taking it off. If there was a way I could look at a client in the eyes and say, you know what, Dave, we're going to let it run. I see this or that. I would, but I couldn't. There was nothing there that I could say to you to justify why I would take your protection off of Disney. So that's why we kept it on. Today was not a great day for us in Disney, but it was a good day for other positions that we have on. And with that said, futures are pretty flat. All right, so any other questions about Disney? Yes, Dave. In fact, you might have missed this at the start. Um, if I back out my over ridiculousness on ESPN and put in their profits from the movies and work out my valuations, I come out with Disney should trade around 134, and I think I came up with 93 cents. Don't quote me, but in that 70 to 95 cent range. Someone else made the comment here that on VectorVest, Disney fair value is at 135.56. So I'm not far off from another expert. I think we have quite a bit of upside in Disney. People just got to get out of the hang-up in regards to thinking, hey, we're going to get hung up when it comes to ESPN. I still need to do it, but I do want to go through and work through what you would see on on what the real revenue is, I guess, on let me take that back. What the real profit is on ESPN and how low it really is because of how high the expenses are for producing it. All right, let's keep moving on. What's in this market this week and why? In all honesty, last week retail earnings and pretty slow on economic reports. Yellen speaks on Friday, which could spook the market. With that said, Yellen has done a fabulous job so far after her little learning curve there. I think she's done a fabulous job in regards to not panicking or making some amateurish mistakes. I still think I want to say Greenberg, but that's not his name. What was his name? Greenspan? What, I have green in my head? Brain fart here. The gentleman that was the master speaking for an hour, yet not saying anything. An old Federal Reserve chair. When I talk about, not red pen, Greenspan, there we go. As if you take a quick peek, if we run on down here to earnings, Toll Brothers for housing, Intuit, Salesforce day was big. Kirk did pretty good. Cree was down. Tomorrow we have American Eagle Outfitters, Lowe's, Hewlett Packard, PVH, Guess. Thursday, Abercrombie and Fitch, Burlington, Dollar Tree, Shield, which is Sears, Staples, Tiffany, GameStop, Marvel. Anyone know what AVGO is? Anyone know what AVGO is? AVGO is Broadcom. Broadcom is now AVGO. Interesting to see if Broadcom's able to buy and close a deal on an XPI. And Friday, big lots. So this is the last little bit. Earnings really won't move the markets. You kind of saw Salesforce have a muted earnings, as well as Toll Brothers, in my opinion. Pretty muted. Sideways movement for JA Solar. Kirkland did really good. They had a big move for being a cheaper stock. But way to go, Kirkland. Not a whole lot there on that side. By the way, if you take a quick peek on economic reports, not a whole much that's going to move that as well. We have new home sales, which in all honesty should do pretty good. 615,000. We have existing home sales, which are more important, sitting at the 5.56 million mark. So not a whole lot here. Durable goods used to be a big one, but durable goods is supposed to come in at negative 6.0. It's almost set up for us to be able to beat it. If you take out X transportation, it's supposed to be at a 0.5, which we should do pretty good there as well. So nothing on that side. Someone made the comment to me, well, Kevin, you seem like you're taking and putting in less and less international reports. And there are quite a few international reports that come out. But that individual was correct. I am doing less and less international reports. The international reports have had less and less value or movement on our markets. It used to be, if you take a quick peek here, it used to be that Japan's numbers were more important. This is manufacturing flash number. If I go down a little bit more, we do have a inflation number on Thursday, the CPI, but right now we don't care about Japan's numbers. There's a while in Europe. You could take a look and say the PMI composite, that's our ISM version, right? Not important. The PMI composite numbers are not important for Europe right now. What about GDP for Germany? It used to be important. Right now, the only ones that do matter are China's. And obviously China's coming out with one that I hadn't seen in a while. China has their industrial profits report. And to be honest with you, that one I took a look at and I said, what the heck are industrial profits? That one is one that I haven't seen readily enough to be able to talk about. So I thought, well, maybe there'll be something that I can share with you guys. And I just literally just grabbed this from oh, crying out loud, Hurley. I want to say Wells Fargo, Wall Street, the Wall Street Journal. And I just clicked on it, and in all honesty, the definition, industrial profits are calculated as a total revenue of enterprises gained from principal business operations minus the total costs incurred. Well, of course those are profits. The survey, so it's a survey, covers enterprises above a designated size, namely those with revenue from principal activities of more than CIN 2 million. So whatever the 20 million, excuse me, is on the Chinese currency. So it's just a survey. It's not that important. It does seem to be growing year over year, but it's one that I hadn't seen very much. I love the fact that they say why investors care. For me, it's important because I run Baidu. So profits also reveal the health of an enterprise. When enterprise profits are anemic during economic expansion, it's just that enterprise is not performing efficiently. It's a way for me to check on China. It's a way for me to look at Baidu and say, hey, I'm going to give it a look. Alibaba. Abraham, I'm not an Alibaba fan. Joe Ma does nothing for me. I've been with Baidu for over 10 years, and I'm more of a Baidu fan chasing the Google of China than I am an Amazon fan. I don't trade Amazon here. I think Amazon's returns have been super low. I think in all reality, you can't duplicate Amazon and not expect to have, 18 years with no profit. I think the numbers are cooked on Alibaba. What the heck can Joe Ma do better than what Amazon has done by way of their infrastructure and their shipping? So, not a big fan of Baba. Don't trade it. But this report would be helpful to see if you see continued growth on as a survey in China. All righty, where am I going to go here? All right, where will the markets end this week? I really don't know, but if you ask me, it all depends on holding the 50-day simple moving average. If you called me and said you got to choose one way, you can't sidestep it, I would assume higher. Our run up right now has been, in all honesty, it's been hopium again. All hope infused or expected. So kind of hard to judge when there's no fundamentals behind it. We keep on going down, went through the charts, all still technically bearish. I still think the S&P will end August up 2%. If I took a quick peek right now, well, actually, we can just take a look on our chart. NASDAQ is still down for a month, so if I think it's going to be up 2%, I think we're going from 2452 literally up to above 2,500. So in all honesty, probably not going to happen. I am going to make this change on the S&P to only being up 1%, but it wouldn't surprise me if we were obviously down for the month. So it'll be interesting to see where we end up. Not looking good right now for my prediction, and it was just my thought process on where we'd be and why. Earnings, last little bit, nothing that stands out to me that's a bellwether. Economic reports, again, nothing here, nothing internationally, but do not forget that Yellen does speak on Friday. That can move the markets if she makes a misstep one way or the other. So you'll see a little volatile Friday. A little more volatility come into our market. How am I looking to trade? I still have Costco on, and at this time really you could say I am letting a couple of things run right now. Earnings list, AOBC is a couple weeks out. We have Citigroup a couple weeks out, a month out, and Costco more than a month out. So not a whole lot going on. I have a couple different things I'm going to put in here, but I did bring back the Buffett Berkshire dumps to you, but bets further on banking sector. I do think banks are going to come back by the end of the year. I hope so, because I'm heavily invested in Bank of America, slightly in Citi, and pretty heavily invested in Zions Bank, a regional. Any questions for me today, guys? Thank you, Abraham. I will take a peek at some of those. And out of curiosity, Abraham just sent me a link. I find it more often than not when I hear some bad news about Baidu or the trends on Baidu, it's usually been to the downside. I can still remember people telling me you got to get out of Baidu at 150, and I'm so glad at where it's at right now up here in the 225 range again. Pretty interesting. I am definitely going to look this over, Abraham. Thank you very much. Interesting. Good stuff. Any other comments? Going once, going twice. If there's not, guys, I'd like to wish you well. I will be here next week, but we will not have anything going on the holiday week of I can't speak. Holiday week of Labor Day. Interesting. I will definitely take a quick peek at both of these. All right, guys. Hey, appreciate you being here. Look forward to seeing you next week. Maud, I will definitely get this up later on this evening, so if you check tomorrow morning, you should be able to see everything that we have on. Vernon, pleasure to have you back with us. Nice to see you here. And, guys, I think that's going to wrap us up. Be a little bit quick be a little bit quick, but hey, you guys have a great evening. Appreciate you coming. Look forward to talking to you next week. Bye-bye, y'all.